Hello, hello, welcome everybody. So this is going to be the New Year's reading, and we're going to be using this beautiful new deck. This is my deck that I've created with all my illustrations and everything, and I am so proud and so happy and so excited to be using it. So we'll be using that a little further into the reading. And so right now I invite you to pause the video and pick your pile. We have pile 1 here, pile 2, and pile 3. And then please scroll in the description box to find the timestamp related to your reading so you can skip ahead and just get straight to your reading. So I'm probably going to have emojis associated with each pile, so you can choose that way, and if that helps you. And so that's it. So please hit pause and then select your pile and then move on to the timestamp related to your reading. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So the piles we had at the beginning were just placeholder cards, okay? So it doesn't really matter, however you picked, okay? This is what we're gonna do today. We're just gonna shuffle live, okay? We're gonna start with this deck here to see the main energy for your new year, okay? As we enter the new year, main energy for pile number 1. Okay, Spirit has a sense of humor. It says the future. Yes, indeed. That is what we are trying to do. But immediately I get a sense that you might be like moving on or starting anew, or really like the future is full of promise for you. Like 2024 is your year, baby. That's what I'm getting immediately. So I'm going to continue shuffling, okay? We're going to add to this. So for the energies of the new year, we have this for January. So we're going to add a bit more to this. This card didn't want to fear serenity. I'm going to keep it. Okay. I'm going to keep it. It really, like as soon as I flipped it, it didn't want to go back into the pile as I was shuffling. Usually I like to pick I take the cards that show up from Spirit once they are, on the table by themselves, whether they're flipped or not. But in this case, like it just didn't want to go into it. So I was kind of reluctant to take it. But as soon as I flipped it, I was going to put it back. But then I just had this voice in my head say like, no, this is really like meant for pile number 1. So, and it really, what stands out for me is this crown here in this picture, and then the lion here, and the lion mane basically, and the sense of power. So yeah, a really powerful future for you, pile number 1. You're really stepping into it like with full force. So that's great. Let's continue to shuffle and add to your cards. So I started your reading before placing all the cards, but they're just speaking to me right away. So I hope that's okay with you. We're gonna go with the energies that show up. All right. So more information here for that first month of 2024 as pile number 1 enters it. Ooh. This kind of just hid itself. Okay, we have this card here. And we're gonna add one last one. Okay, perfect. So I get the sense that you might have been somebody that tends to maybe, sorry, I'm going to rephrase that, okay? You might have had some anxiety towards the future. And don't we all, right? But I sense that recently maybe that's been something that's taken a lot of mental space for you. And there's this sense of like complete like message from Spirit saying that everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to turn out perfect. Like, do not worry. And there's obviously this sense of fierce serenity that I get, and this complete, like, I am ready to step into my future, and the ties of the past, or the mental ties as well from the past can no longer like stop me from what is destined for me, right? And I sense like this kind of like energy of moving on, but you're no longer in that energy. You're like fully stepping into like the new, the exciting. You're not like in the stage where you know, where there's still that energy of like, okay, I'm trying to move on, or, you know, I'm still kind of deep in the trenches of like whatever I'm trying to manifest. It's like, no, you have moved on and now you are ready. Like, this is new. This is a new start, and it's perfect for 2024 and for entering 2024. So it's amazing to see. And you've come a long way as well. I want to mention that you've made incredible progress to arrive at 2024 this strong, honestly. So congrats to you. I don't know what you've been through or what's happened in 2023. It doesn't have to be anything major, but whatever demons you've conquered, you know, whatever's occurred, you've done a great job, is what I want to say. Yeah, so I get the sense that you're really in your sacred flow, that you will find your sacred flow in the month of January as you enter 2024. And yeah, it really speaks of like this sense of serenity, of acceptance, of moving into this newness and this new year with full force, with your crown on, being the king, like the lion here. So we have a lot of that like symbology in those cards, really reiterating that you'll be really in your power, and that you're creating, also the message I'm getting, that you're creating the future that you desire, that 2024 is actually like a stepping stone in creating that beautiful future that you desire. So whatever that you've been dreaming up, that you've been dreaming of, that you want to manifest, 2024 is a crucial stepping stone. You are like definitely on your way. This is a massive year to see like amazing progress as well. And I think you're taking whatever you've learned from 2023 in order to step that powerfully into 2024. So like, I just want to applaud. Like, there's so much energy in that card and in your cards. It's insane. And then we move into like this energy of creator air. So that's making me think obviously of the air signs. So Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. I'm not sure that she was giving me that vibe. She was more giving me, you know, like with the lion here and everything, like more of a fiery, and the energy I sense is very fiery. But here we have air, which is a lot different, obviously, from fire. And in terms of astrology, probably they're opposites, right? So from what I understand, the message I'm getting is that you'll be integrating kind of like those two sides of yourself. Like, you might be actually an individual that's full of like complexity, and that might have been something maybe that you've struggled with in the past, and that now you're kind of putting all the pieces together and sort of just standing in your own power fully. Because I see like here, this triangle is reminding me of like, you know, there's one piece at the top and like the piece at the bottom, and it's like coming together. So I really think that you're like your head, your mind, and your body and your passion, everything is kind of like puzzle pieces coming together. It's like you're joining forces within yourself, is what I'm getting. I'm also getting that it might be something to do with your career as well. That it's like either you are changing jobs, or you are finding like the missing piece. It's kind of like, let's say you're, I don't know, you're an accountant, but you've never really liked math or finances, and you're somebody that's very artistic or whatever, but then you end up doing like, let's say architecture, that you integrate like the math that you're good at initially, but with something that makes more sense for you. So I know it's not a great example, but that's what came to mind. But it's something along those lines where like you're really kind of meeting your own talents, your own, what you're good at, and you're putting the pieces together. So if there was like a missing piece in your career, then you're finding what it is, whether it's another job or a different kind of job or another company with doing the same thing but with different people. So there's something along those lines where you're stepping fully into that new paradigm for yourself. And aside from career, I'm also getting that that's what's happening on like the inner planes for you, so that you're integrating mind and passion. Like you're your head and your heart want to go in the same direction, or you've learned to have them both be allies, where maybe in the past it's been difficult, where you've had more anxiety, let's say your questions and stuff like that in your head, or anxieties, and then your heart telling you another thing, and it was hard to kind of listen to either. So I think now you've kind of figured out a way to honor both sides. And if not, then in 2024, this is definitely something that you will be mastering. And coming into 2024 in January, I do believe that you'll be definitely working on that. And yeah, and that will be different for you. Hi, baby. Sorry, my little daughter just popped in. Hi, sweetie. I'm just gonna pause the video for a second and I'll be back with you. All right, guys, we're back. I'm sorry for the little disruption there. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of messages from this card, actually. And I get the sense that you're essentially solving a problem in 2024, especially in January. So there's a problem that you've had in 2023 or longer, and you will find a solution. So I'm hearing problem solving from this card. I'm also hearing finding the missing piece. So for most of you, this card is either about career, about an issue perhaps even that you've had, like in like a project that you have at work, or a personal project, a creative project, something along those lines that you're finding a solution to, and you're finding the missing piece. And I'm also getting that for some of you, it's also like finding your missing piece being something to do with love, right? But this is for a small portion of you, but I'm getting the sense that yes, and that person might be an air sign. Okay, so your missing piece is an air sign. So that might ring true for some of you, that you will meet somebody in January, or that you have actually met. I'm not sure you have met them already, actually. Yeah. So I think some of you in January will meet a new person, and it'll feel like you found your missing piece, and they might very well be. That's one thing I get from this. But for the majority of you, I'm really getting the sense that you're figuring out something that you've been battling with for a little bit, and that solution is coming, and it's coming from you. And yeah, and you're solving it for yourself, and it's gonna feel great. And I guess we can just summarize that there is something that you will be solving, either in a creative project, in your own business, at work. So if you're an entrepreneur, for example, you're finding something that you were missing. Let's say like you didn't have enough leads, you'll figure out a way to create leads all of a sudden, and that problem will no longer exist for you. But yeah, you get the gist of it. Essentially, that's what's happening. So you're putting two pieces together that fit perfectly. And you're using your intellect, you're using your mind to do that primarily. So let's move on from what we have right now. So I'm gonna start shuffling this deck, which is the mindset deck that I've created, and we're gonna use it to have more guidance for you guys. All right. Okay, so a little background about this deck. It has mindset gems, little tips and things that I've picked up along the years from different fields. So for example, Buddhism, Jungian psychology, philosophy, Stoicism. So there's different facets that are included in this deck. So I've pulled from different knowledge pools, really, to create this deck, and to bring you kind of like the mindset gems that others have given us, and I've packaged it into an oracle card deck. And of course, I've put my own spin to also the mindset messages that I give with those cards. And yeah, the whole creation of this deck started when I had a sort of freak accident almost that nearly took my life. And after that happened, I really wanted to turn the knowledge that I had gained from that experience, but also my passion for all these disciplines, and turn it into something that could help others that have gone through hardships in their lives, whether that be like the breakdown of relationships or trying to figure out what to do with their lives or their careers or whatever, right? We all go through moments where we could use some support, and this is the deck that I created in the hopes that it would reach people and help them in their moment of need. So there you go. This is the little background. Now let's use it. All right. So basically, we're going to ask for your month of January. What mindset could help you? What advice does Spirit have for you for your month of January? And as you enter the new year, as you enter 2024, what mindset? Wow, it flipped so fast. Okay. Was not expecting that. We have this card here, which is the card of non-attachment. And it says, be present, let go of outcomes, surrender wishes to the universe. And it really fits with what we see on the table right here, which is beautiful to see. So again, I'm getting that message that, you know, you need not worry for the future that you desire, because as you step into your present, you are creating it. You are exactly where you need to be, and you're exactly in the right direction. And if you walk right now, your life, if you walk it as if Spirit has your back and you have this knowledge that you're exactly where you need to be and any step that you take is the right one for you right now, it's kind of like surrendering your wishes to the universe. You're saying to life that you trust it to bring you what it is that you need, right? You trust in life. You trust in yourself to navigate life as well. And so when you stand in your power that way, that's when you see your manifestations come to you. That's when you see signs and synchronicities occur because of that alignment, right? And you're creating peace for yourself. You're creating that state of being receptive to what wants to come to you, to what you've asked, right? So, and you're really in your flow, obviously, when you let go of outcomes and you're just kind of doing things in the present that bring you that sense of joy and accomplishment as you go through it. So it's very big stuff. It's not, you know, it's very deep. It's not surface level. It's not superficial. So I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of convey what this is, and it's a bit difficult, so I'm sorry if if I'm stumbling on my words and all that. But yeah, it's talking about the future here, but what's funny is that this card says be present, and I really feel that the message here is that it's through those steps that you're taking in the very present that that future is manifesting. Okay? And the more you focus on your present right now and what you can control and what you can do, and not with overwhelm and not with the feeling of lack and straining, but with the feeling of peace and finding what gives you that sense of flow, the more you're in that energy, you know, the more that future that you desire will be right at your door. And I feel like that's what's happening for you in January. All right, I'm sorry, I moved the cards because there was a bit of glare coming from the light and I'm not used to filming here. But anyways, I've pulled the guidebook on my computer for this card, and I want to read it to you because I think it ties in perfectly. All right, so the quote that I have on this is, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. That's from Epictetus. He's a Stoic philosopher. And so the card message says, non-attachment is equivalent to surrender. It means to care for your well-being while simultaneously letting go of controlling life and others so that you can be open to the abundant flow of life. We all happen on times in our lives when we ask questions like, does he or she love me? Am I doing this for nothing? What is my purpose here? Is this going to work out? Is this meant to be? Surrender is trusting the universe to guide you instead of the mindset of needing answers. When you or me or anyone comes from a place of problem solving and needing to fix things or find answers, we shoot ourselves in the foot unknowingly. If that state of problem solving or needing answers had a face, it would be wearing a mask of worry. It would be what feels like nervous energy without a proper outlet. So I think that ties in so well with the reading that we've had, because I feel like what it's saying is that you've had like something that you're trying to fix for a bit, right? You're trying to find this puzzle piece that's missing. And it's literally saying that as soon as you trust that you're on the right path and that you trust that the answers will come to you, right? And that you're doing everything right now, and that the steps that you'll take, the very next steps in the present that you're taking are the right ones, and you're gonna get there. And the more you trust life and yourself through that process, that answer is coming. If you're in that energy, that answer will come. You will find whatever it is that you were looking for. And by focusing on, oh, I have a problem, it's like you're amplifying the energy of there's a problem, right? And your whole body, your whole intellect, your whole mind will be taken by this problem. And while you can be a great problem solver, and that's like very creative at the same time, that's not quite the energy here. It's more that it's gone overboard. It's like too much of a good thing is turning itself on you, right? It's like too much fixation on something, right? Then the result is not problem solving anymore. It's fixation. It's being, overwhelmed or completely taken by, I need to solve this problem. And so definitely like you're coming out of that energy fully. And in January, with that new energy that you're bringing in of fierce serenity, of, more focusing on finding your flow, that's how you'll figure out things that either you were really trying to figure out or that you didn't even know you needed. There's a part of the answer for you that's coming to you. There's a part that you need that's coming for you. So I'm just going to continue reading while I'm at it, okay? Where was I? Okay. And here it says, surrender is the opposite. It's not void of answers. It's void of noise preceding answers. So I'm going to read that again. It says, surrender is the opposite. It's not void of answers. It's void of noise preceding answers. Okay, so by surrendering, by having peace, you're making room for that answer to come to you. You're clearing your mind. You're giving your mind enough space for answers to actually come, because there's a fine line. And maybe, if you're a creative, you'll understand what I mean when, you're trying hard to figure out, let's say you're writing a novel to figure out like a plot or a twist or something like that, and it's just not coming. You're better off like stopping that, writing on something else, writing the next chapter or whatever, than continuing to trying to figure out that thing that's not coming to you at the moment necessarily. So maybe that's not the greatest example, but again, like it's something along those lines, right? Where you create enough space for things to manifest, for things to come to you. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading the message. So the answers come not because you asked, probe, or tried to problem fix, but precisely because you didn't. It's a letting go of controlling how things play out. Because in truth, that approach hinders us to the point where we're closing the door to answers and expansion, and joy and miracles and life itself. Surrender is like a tiny key unlocking the heaviest of doors. It gifts us a super connection with life and spiritual insights, like 5G on steroids, and the ability to be present in the unfolding of our purpose. Surrender is like a signal sent to the universe, whereby you allow it to conspire to guide you like a North Star to your highest destiny and purpose. So the mindset for you for the month of January is really to continue to be in that energy of surrender, of having faith, of doing the very next step that you can take, lessening the noise, lessening the worry, and amping up the flow, and whatever gives you that sense of serenity I'm tempted to say like move your body as well. That can help you, that can help also release energy and stuff like that, and help you with mental clarity. So, okay, so we've got our cards for January. All right, welcome pile number 2. So this is going to be your New Year's reading. We're going to look at the energies, the main energies, especially for the month of January. And then the cards you see here, they are not the cards that were at the start. Those cards were just placeholders. It doesn't matter however you chose before. What we're going to do is just shuffle live, all right? And there you go. Let's dive in, all right? So for the month of January 2024, so as pile number 2 enters 2024, what will be the main energies and theme for that month? For pile number 2. Oh, it kind of flew in a funny way. All right, we have the card of communion. All right, very cool. So immediately I'm thinking of union, obviously, but we're gonna add more cards to this and then we're gonna start reading. All right, so for pile number 2, for their month of January 2024, okay, I'm gonna take that one. It's funny, it's a bit in the same color and vibe. All right, we're gonna take more cards for January and the energies. All right. Okay, we're gonna take these 2 cards. Oh, I love this. I love that this card came up. It says Creator Earth, and I sense a lot of like earth energy with the grounding here and just the color in general. So all those browns and everything, and oranges and yellows and all of that. So either you're maybe an earth sign, or somebody significant is an earth sign in your life. So what jumps at me immediately in this card is specifically, she has like ornaments in her hair, which is reminding me of, which is odd, first of all, but it's reminding me of Christmas. And so I think, and it's funny, the card is 24, 24th of December, i.e. But anyways, so that kind of tells me that you might take whatever happens during the month of December 2023 into your 2024. And okay, that's just like logical, right? We'll all be kind of doing that, right? But I'm just trying to figure, I think something significant will be happening during the holidays, potentially in your case. Something positive, and you're taking that with you as you start 2024. Also 24 is for 2024, so that's pretty crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of good energy, I have to say. So that's definitely positive. I think she has a necklace made of bones. So again, it's making me think of like the past, right? Ties to the past, but in a positive way. And there's a key as well among all these bones. Like you're unlocking something about your past and taking it with you, but in a very positive way. And maybe it's something that wasn't necessarily positive to start with. You're taking it with you. It might be like the rituals or traditions, something to do with your ancestry or your heritage or something like that, that perhaps you didn't really delve into before, and recently you have. And during the holidays, maybe that will be some sort of reminder to continue kind of those traditions, those old traditions. I'm really sensing something like that, and the earth energy is very reminiscent of that, of like traditions, grounding, ancestor, and all of that. So it's kind of funny how it ties in. Maybe, and it says communion, and I hear the word union. So perhaps you're like reconnecting with somebody from your past. Like I'm feeling like if you were adopted or something along those lines, finding your family, your biological family, or some members from your biological family, perhaps. You're finding out something about your ancestry around the holidays, specifically also in January 2024. The other thing I'm getting, there might be like a very strong kind of female figure in your ancestry line, which is also a guide of yours at the moment, and a very positive influence in your life. I just wanted to mention that as well. And so, and for most of you, the other thing that I see is the word like communion, right? And so there will be some sort of reunion or union happening in the month of January 2024 for you guys. So it might be that you're, you know, solidifying a relationship, whether it's a love relationship or a friendship, or that you're simply yourself connecting more strongly and that you're yourself connecting more strongly with your past and your ancestry and your roots. There's also the fact that you might have like more rituals and practices to help you ground yourself. I'm also seeing that because we have the stop, drop, and ground. And obviously the leaves and roots going into the earth. So there's this strong element of, of maybe starting like some sort of spiritually grounding practice in the month of January 2024. It could also be not necessarily spiritual. It could be anything from like movement as well, is very tied to that energy. So any like workouts, dance, meditation, gratitude practices. It could really be a number of things here that can help you in terms of grounding. Also, I'm hearing maybe older talents or older like hobbies that you've had that were grounding to you that you can start up again. Whatever it is, it's asking you like to, whenever you're overwhelmed or whenever a situation arises that causes unpleasant feelings for you, to just remember to stop and maybe have like 3 inspirations. Take 3 breaths in, like 1, 2, 3 on the count of 3, and then exhale on the count of 3 again, and do that 3 times. And that's already enough to kind of, you know, calm you down a little bit and help you ground instead of being in whatever unpleasant energy is happening in the moment that you're in. So that might be very useful and helpful for you. I see that it might be also something that you master in the month of January 2024 and take with you throughout that year. And it also says overrate your intuition, which is beautiful because the moment that you ground yourself, the moment that you take like a few seconds to ground yourself, you can hear your intuition a lot more clearly, right? Because if we take the analogy of when we're overwhelmed and our mind is spinning or we're not feeling like that great, right? That energy kind of has a momentum, right? And just taking a few breaths just breaks that momentum. And that allows your brain to have some sort of some buffer is created. And that space allows your intuition to pop back in for you, right? Because the minute that we're overwhelmed and the mind spins and the anxiety takes over, our intuition is lessened, right? There's less space for other things. It's kind of like a computer where there's not enough memory space, right? So, so you don't want to run too many processes at the same time. So, so grounding will be an important theme for you in the month of January, definitely. I also feel like your career will take an important role in that month as well. So I feel like your body and your career are going to be your focus that month, as well as a reunion or union within yourself or with another. So there's actually like all aspects of life here in the month of January. It feels like a busy month. I guess that's what all of that is. And that's why you have a reminder here of grounding whenever it becomes a bit too much, like whenever you have too many things going on at once, right? So remember that. I also see the card here of befriend the word polarize. So what this card means to me is not to be afraid to speak your mind and speak your truth, even if that means that it's not the majority's opinion, right? So it might have, again, to do with your ancestry, bringing back some traditions that were left behind, and maybe, you know, you're the only one kind of wanting to do that or leading that, right? And not to be afraid to step fully into that role and into whatever your heritage is. Also, it could just be that if you're having some sort of arguments, or not necessarily arguments, but if you have differing points of views than other people around you, not to be taken aback by it and not to take it personally. In the month of January, you'll kind of step fully into that empowered state of just accepting who you are, and you don't mind what others think in general. So if you have, for example, your own business or whatever, and if your reels aren't done exactly the same way that other people are doing them, or if your your videos, if you have a channel on YouTube that doesn't follow the set standard or rules for how you present things or whatever, so that you're doing things that are a bit different, not to be afraid, not to be afraid to be yourself, not to be afraid to shine, not to be afraid to do things differently, even if it might offend other people or kind of take them by surprise for some reason, right? So just do whatever you're gonna do, and realize that however people act is not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. And so you might as well just live your life for yourself, right? And do the actions that you really want to take. But it's definitely a good month for hustling, for productivity wise, and just a reminder to ground and to trust your intuition and not to be afraid to just be yourself. And what is also coming out is that light in the background and how she's shining, and she's fully like integrated all parts of herself, like she's fully accepted everything about her past, and she's standing so proudly. And I don't know, we said the number 33 here, I think, earlier, and so that might be a significant number for some of you, or it might be 38 actually. So I'm just pointing that out. So we're gonna take more cards, and we're gonna take this beautiful deck, which is the deck I created, and we're gonna ask for more guidance here. And so I just want to give you a little background on this deck. So the way it came together is that it takes the knowledge from various disciplines like Buddhism, Stoicism, Jungian analytical psychology, and various mindset gems, and it packages it up in an oracle card deck. And obviously I created my own messages for them and have my own spin on mindset and everything. And I created it after a near-death experience where obviously I almost lost my life, and it was sort of a freak accident, and I really learned a lot from this experience, first of all, and I didn't want it to kind of go to waste if I can say it that way, and I wanted to kind of pay it forward to the universe for being alive and create this deck to help others that go through hardship. And whether it's like a breakup or the dissolution of like your finances, or a business, or whatever hardships we go through in life, and to have that support for others in their time of need. So that's how I created this deck and why I created it, and to kind of package everything that I've learned and everything that I've read and have been passionate about in terms of wisdom and the mind, and how powerful our mind and mindset can be in terms of helping us navigate life in a more authentic and helpful way. So there you go. So now we're going to shuffle for your month of January and see what guidance in terms of mindset, what can help you navigate your month of January and everything that we're seeing on the table here. So we have the card of peace. All right. So it says self-respect, contentment, and sanctuary. So we see again the same theme with peace, being peaceful, being grounded, having inner peace, right? So focusing on your satisfaction or on your contentment, on creating that sanctuary for yourself, that inner sanctuary where you know what you need in terms of, staying grounded, staying aligned. And that's also part of self-respect, right? When you know your limits, when you know your boundaries, and you know what's needed, and you give that to yourself, right? That's really self-respect. That's really being in that energy of creating your own sanctuary and being respectful of your needs, right? So I see that that's a reminder for you for the month of January 2024. So despite all the productivity and hustle, and all the people that will be in your life, because I feel like that's also an important part of it, is that there will be a lot of people in your life in that month, maybe friends, a lover, husband, whatever it is, and co-workers as well. And so it's important that you take the time, some timeouts and some breaks, to allow yourself to feel that groundedness, to be in your peace, and to make sure that your intuition is being honored in that month. Okay, so pile number 2, I'm filming this a little bit later, so let's continue your reading and end off with your message for January in terms of guidance and mindset to help you out. Okay, so we're gonna read the little guidebook about the card that you received, which is peace. So let's just dive in, and I'm reading this off of my computer, so just bear with me here. All right, so the guidebook says, the little quote at the top says, peace is its own reward. And that quote is from Mahatma Gandhi. Peace is the state of feeling at home. It's like the warm embrace of the sun after a long winter. You come to that place of peace when you are very relaxed, when you have let go of grasping, when you have allowed yourself respite, when you have nourished your mind with kindness. If you currently feel disconnected from this place, first you need to accept what is with gentleness towards yourself. Then decide to have the conscious intention of connecting to that inner peace. The UN has created a blueprint for collective peace and prosperity on Earth, with 17 sustainable development goals. You can also create your personal peace blueprint. Like choosing to move yourself closer to inner peace with every choice that you make, from the way you spend your time to the way your energy feels and the thoughts that arise. Let life work its magic and let your worries drift away. You don't need to hang on to them. Your hanging on does nothing. Cherish yourself today. Sorry, I'm going to repeat that. Cherish yourself today in whatever way you can. Filling your own cup will only help you be more present for yourself and others. Remember not to compare yourself to others. Flourish where you are, regardless of what others are doing or thinking. Be gentle. You don't have to solve everything today. Allow yourself serenity and let the universe surprise you. Know that peace is already within you. You are blessed and guided on your path to inner peace. It is the place where the Great Spirit dwells, and you are most awaited. All right, pile number 2, I'm going to end your reading with this beautiful guidebook message for your card of peace for the month of January 2024. I'm going to wish you a happy new year as well. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Thank you for encouraging me and my channel. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. And yeah, take care, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye-bye. All right, hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So we have the decks that we're going to use here. I didn't pre-shuffle the decks, so however you chose before, they were just placeholder cards, and that's fine. But now we're going to shuffle live, okay, to get your cards. I'm going to put this deck out of the way because I'm running out of space a little bit. So we're going to be using this deck that I created just a little bit later, okay? And we're going to start off your reading for the month of January 2024 with these cards. All right, so for pile number 3 for their new year, for their month of January 2024, what do they need to know? What are their predictions. Okay, we have patterns. Let's put this here. All right, for pile number 3, Spirit. Okay, we had this for, I think, pile number 1. Let's see. Okay, they're coming out in a weird way, but we'll take them. They're kind of flipping onto themselves by themselves. All right, pile number 3. What do we need? What does pile number 3 need to know for the month of January 2024? Okay. Again. All right, let's take these 2. Okay. And we'll shuffle one more time. Just, I think this is off screen potentially. Let's pick one more here for pile number 3. Ooh, so many want to come out for you guys. Okay, we're just gonna reshuffle because that's way too many. I'm gonna take one more for pile number 3. We're gonna try to clarify maybe the patterns here that we have. What does pile number 3 need to know for the month of January? All right, first card here. So it says patterns on it, and it's Ellen of the Ways. What's jumping out at me in terms of information from this card is that there's something that is repeating in your life, or has been repeating, that has to do with your ability to, like, how you take in information, basically, how you listen to things, something to do with your sense of hearing. There's a pattern there that's been ongoing in your life. But basically with that sense of hearing is how we take in the external, what the external gives us, and then the internal is like kind of processing what that sound wave is, right? And I feel like the way that you've been hearing perhaps messages from others, or how you're kind of like decoding those messages or taking them in internally, maybe is not to your advantage somehow. Perhaps that's a pattern that's been showing up in your life, and that is going to be leaving this month of January, or you're kind of leaving that behind. Also, patterns makes me think of habits. And so I feel like this might be saying that you will be starting important ones this new year, okay? Ones that will be long lasting. And perhaps it has to do with how you take in the external world in terms of what it seems to be telling you. You're leveling up how you're listening to the messages that you're hearing, even the messages from spirit, how, you know, that information arrives to you, and you're choosing to take in this information in a way that is a lot more advantageous to you, like that builds you up, that celebrates you. There's like a 180 shift in how you're viewing yourself through the external as well. Like, I feel like you're a lot more proud of yourself as well. There's a sense of confidence, of self-worth. So there's a lot of that going on for you in the month of January. So that's amazing to see. So you're shining internally. We see that with the lion here, and the lion mane depicting like leadership, power, and it says fierce serenity. So it's kind of like accepting yourself. Like, she has red colored hair that are wavy, and they're all on one side of her head practically. It's like, it's not super wild. It's like controlled wildness almost. Yeah, so you have a lot more control over what kind of information you want to take in internally and make yours. Like, you're very discerning now. You don't allow things that are kind of like disrespectful to you, let's say. So you're a lot more careful. Maybe that's not the best word, but yeah, you're a lot more like discerning of what you will allow. And that is kind of like allowing your own light to shine, and you're taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself and self-respecting yourself, if I can say it that way, by disallowing things that don't help you shine and don't give you that sense of serenity. and inner peace. Okay, so you're cutting out dissonance, things that are conflicting or that give you inner conflict or that make you doubt yourself. You are cutting that out of your life in January. You are changing that pattern. If that has been a pattern before, that pattern is leaving. And I'm getting that message strongly here, okay? You are epic, so don't forget that. I am sensing like really the self-confidence and the chakra related to self-confidence, your solar plexus chakra related to the color yellow is very present for you in the month of January. So yes, remember that message. You are epic. And then we have find your sacred flow. So continue on your path of whatever makes you feel in your flow this month of January. Give yourself a break from tasks that are not like super pleasant to do and feel more like chores or responsibilities. Try to inject a bit of lightness and fun, and also do more of those hobbies and things that bring you that sense of joy and flow, where time seems to be just like kind of flying because you're just so entrenched in what you're doing. So more activities that give you a sense of peace and B, a sense of like being in your flow. If you can, this month of January, that will be very helpful to you. And then gratitude. There's a lot of things for you to be grateful this month of January. Pay attention to the small details, the small signs, the small things that you will be hearing in the month of January. Like, I don't know if there's some form of news or something that's coming your way. Yeah, even songs, lyrics, things like that you connect to, okay? They're all little messages potentially from spirit cheering you on your path in January, okay? It's a big deal. Like the pattern that you're letting go of is a big deal. Like it's a big shift, okay? And like I think spirit wants to commend you for that and celebrate you for that. So I just want to make that message known. And here you have what's your honest truth. So I think when you feel or sense inner conflict, that your part of your guidance in it is to not be afraid to face your truth. Not be afraid to wear your crown, to wear your lion mane. Okay, not be afraid of wearing that proudly and still facing what can seem unpleasant, okay? And saying, yes, that's not working out great right now. I admit, I accept, right? And if you're capable of doing that or more of that, I think, I mean, that's what I'm seeing for you in January. And that can be a very good principle and question to ask yourself when you sense like conflict arising in your mind or doubts or things like that. Okay, so I think that question of asking yourself what's your honest truth and remembering that you can wear your crown of sovereignty and still face your truth and still look at truth that sometimes can be unpleasant. Like an example of that could be something didn't go as planned, a relationship, whatever it is. And even though there's grief there, for example, that you can still accept that you will be moving on because it's better for you too. So that's an example. But yeah, so take what resonates here. So let's see, the next card is Light in the Unexpected. Yeah, so I think you'll have definitely a surprise in the month of January. And like I said, I am feeling like from these cards, I felt like something, a message, some sort of message is coming to you. I sense that it was like from your sense of hearing, somebody will tell you something or you will listen to something. And it's an unexpected news. And yeah, and it's positive because it's light in the unexpected, okay? So it's something that perhaps you've been waiting for or that will be a pleasant surprise for you, even though it's a surprise. Okay, so I'm curious, pile number 3, if you can come back and let us know what that surprise is that is coming to you in January. But yeah, I think as you follow this path of like, you know, your non-conflictual pattern instead of the conflictual patterns, as you release all that, as you stand in your peace and in your flow and everything. It seems like it's going to be a nice month of January, and you're in for a surprise as well. So let's see. This is the card that I created, by the way, because I wanted to help people that were going through hardships, that were rebuilding themselves, whether it was like the dissolution of like a partnerships, breakup, losing their business, whatever, hardships we go through life, and that they'd have a deck to support them. It's also a deck that my wish for it is really to publish it, but also for it to, like, most of the proceeds to go towards climate change, towards climate action, towards rewilding the planet. And that is my big dream for it. So that's what I'm hoping at some point, to publish this deck. And we're going to pick a card here to help us with, the mindsets that can help you in the month of January as you go through it. And let's shuffle it. So for pile number 3, Spirit, what can help them in terms of mindsets? Ooh, nice. I love that that came up. I absolutely love that that came up. Okay, guys, so it says identity, and it says look beyond the veil of your thoughts and feelings. So it goes so well with patterns. It goes so well with you letting go of that conflictual pattern that you've had. That, by the way, no judgment here. We all have that. We all have doubts. We all have like a way that our mind kind of like can churn up negative things and self-doubts and all that. So totally normal stuff. Yeah, I love that that card came out. So I think you're basically kind of letting go of parts of you that you thought were you, but they're not you. They don't have to be you, and they never have had to be you. Like the thoughts that you thought and that you were so attached to and thinking that, okay, that's me, I'm just that way. And then you realize that no, that's just a thought. A thought does not mean that this is who you are. A thought is just a thought. It's a temporary thing, just like a feeling is temporary. And those things don't define you, and they change moment to moment. And so part of the way of like realizing this is creating enough of a buffer when you have thoughts that destroy like your sense of self, or destroy your self-worth, or don't build you up. You have to like kind of like stop yourself and pay attention and be like, okay, that's a negative thought. You just name it, right? And then that creates a bit of a buffer between the reaction of your mind having that thought and you internalizing it. So before you internalize it, you just create a bit of like a space, a bit of a buffer where you're like, wait a second, this is a negative thought. Okay, I'm just categorizing it, negative thought. And it's like, the more you kind of do that, the more you create a bit of a buffer, and you realize that you can have a different thought altogether. You can actually redirect your mind, and that thought doesn't have to be true at all. Like, it's not the truth, right? And it pairs well with what's your honest truth here, because there are some truths that we need to face, yes, but there are others that aren't truths at all. They're just feelings and thoughts that are not part of your core identity at all. Okay, so I think you're rewriting your story. You're rewriting what you decide is you and what you decide is not you. And I think it's beautiful. Obviously, it's not light work. Like it is. By that I mean it's not like it's important work. Okay, and it's not always easy, and there's ups and downs. But I think overall, from your cards that I see here on the table, it's a very, 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 very positive direction for you. And it sounds like January will be epic, okay, for you, literally. And you have a surprise as well waiting for you. I'm going to read that card, the guidebook message, okay, for this card for you. Just give me a second. I'm pulling it up. It's on my computer here, the guidebook. All right. So the little quote I have for this card, I'm just going to make sure that you guys can actually see. I'm just going to put it up top here so it's a bit separate. All right, so the card of identity. The quote for it is, "It is not that things do not exist, but that our perception of them is nothing but illusion." And that quote is from Carl Gustav Jung. "You are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings. Those are as ephemeral as life is. What if you choose to let them pass through you without clinging to them, without labeling them as truth? even though you seemingly think you are entrenched in them. Instead, bring awareness and focus on how fast your feelings dissipate, how fast your thoughts jump from one to the next. Even count the seconds. This is not about ignoring your thoughts and feelings. This is about creating enough of a buffer that you increase your clarity of mind, your intuition, and your perception of situations. You are less on automatic and less in reaction mode. Instead, you learn to find stability and wiser choices through seeing that you are separate from your thoughts and feelings. And here is a bit of a mindset mantra for you. Thoughts and feelings mimic the cyclical and temporary nature of life. I observe them like the lapping of waves. I observe in wonder, knowing that who I am lies way beyond them. I am not the wave, but the surfer. Things are not what they seem as you peer through the veil of thoughts and feelings. You see that if you don't grab onto them, you can rewrite your perception of yourself and others. You can write a different story. If there are thoughts or feelings that are currently hindering your progress or taking your energy away, begin by releasing your grasp. What if they aren't as real as they appear? What if you replaced one energy-sucking thought with an energy-replenishing one? Can you do the same with your feelings? As you journey through the ego mind, be mindful of doing it step by step and with gentleness. Don't rush and be kind to yourself. Slow and steady wins the race. You are peering through the veil and rewriting your story. Soon, you will see the throne of your evolved consciousness within your mind's eye. And that's it for your card message, pile number 3. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to wish you a very happy new year. Enjoy your month of January. And I'll see you in my next video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for helping my channel and for watching. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.